First one is on the Sheriff's Office request for a pay increase, and I've got a couple of slides. We're going to go through salary study recommendation from last year, along with the Sheriff's request for pay last year. We'll review his updated request, look at some historical data, look at some comparisons to other Sheriff's Office, and then you will see my recommendation. So the first slide here is about the salary study. Just wanted to review that that was done and implemented last year with the 2023 budget, and that the study looked at the financial sustainability of the county. It looked at the relevant labor market, primarily defined with the geographic region around us, and the study also looked at position classification and internal relationships, comparing responsibilities, skill level, knowledge, and equity of pay across the county. So the slide here shows the positions, rank positions in the Sheriff's Office, the salary study recommendation, and the Sheriff's request. So last year, we met numerous times with the Sheriff, and after receiving the results from the study, the Sheriff came back and made a request for what you see on the far right. You can see that in many cases, it's not too far off from what the salary study recommended. And then down at the master deputy level, senior deputy level, and deputy level, the Sheriff's request was for exactly what the salary study made a recommendation for. Also note that senior deputy and master deputy did not exist prior to last year. That was part of the study results, that we implement those two levels to allow our deputy positions to advance in pay depending on their years of service and training and other skills. So we built those two positions into the rank and pay scale that the Sheriff requested for the 2023 budget. So those are the figures there. The next slide is just a review of the Sheriff's request last month on August the 15th. So I'm showing you the current salaries that our rank and pay positions are currently at with the FY24 budget, and then the proposed salary that the Sheriff made a request for at last month's meeting. This is a slide of historical data. I think it's important for the board to see where we've come from. So this goes back to fiscal year 15, the start of the Sheriff being with us, and you can see the incremental increases, primarily due to COLA increases with each budget year. And then as we move into up to date, you can see the salaries and the increases that this board has approved. I would also like to note that there are 26 deputy positions. 10 of those 26 are deputy, 11 of those 26 are senior deputy, and 5 of those 26 are master deputy. So not all of our deputy positions are at that bottom level of 45,924. 10 are at that level, and there are currently 4 vacant deputy positions. 3 of those are senior deputy, and 1 of those is master deputy. So at this point in time, from the records I was able to obtain from our finance office and human resources office, we have 4 deputy positions that are vacant, 3 are at the senior level, and 1 is at the master level. Understand that if they cannot find individuals with the credentials to be hired in at the senior or master level, they can hire them in at the deputy level, and the funds are in the budget to do so. This slide is just showing you some historical data about the assets in the sheriff's office, particularly vehicles and positions, and how those have increased over the years. There have been an increase of 39 vehicles over the last 9 years and 23 positions over the last 9 years. Here I'm providing you with total budget figures for the sheriff's office over historical data here. The first column you'll see says ORG, so that's the original appropriation that was provided during that fiscal year. And REV is the revised appropriation. So that is the ending budget at the end of the fiscal year. Whatever funds may have been reappropriated, so as we go into a new fiscal year, reappropriations for purchase orders happen and those funds roll over, as well as funds being added to the budget throughout the year for things like grants that have been awarded or capital improvement, or CIP. Whenever they're ready to spend CIP money, that money is moved into their budgets. So you've got from fiscal year 15 up to the current fiscal year. I would like to note that between 2021 and 2022, the sheriff's budget grew by over $860,000. Last year, with the implementation of the job study results, or the salary results that the sheriff requested, that was implemented last year. Last year, the budget grew by $2.2 million, and for the current fiscal year, the budget grew another $1.3 million.
So just a quick question. If I look at fiscal year 15 revised, 11 million was the budget for the sheriff's office. And am I reading it correctly that fiscal year 23 revised, it'll be 17.5 million?
Yes,
So
sir.
it's from 11 million to 17.5 million.
Yes, sir,
Okay, I just want to make sure I was reading it right.
you are.
Thank you.
This slide, just as of the other week when I was working on this, these are positions that are posted for other county sheriff's office deputy level positions. And if you go out and search for employment, these are the advertised deputy salaries for these other counties. And I've tried to list them in numerical order so you can see where Nash County falls in comparison to many of our neighboring counties. So as for a recommendation, as a reminder, the request that the sheriff made last month was to move that base deputy salary from $45,009 something to $55,000, and to increase all the other rank and pay salaries on up the scale. I've been able to show you with history that Nash County has provided significant increases in pay to our sheriff's office. We had the large increase last year with the sheriff's office request with the 2023 budget. We have 15 other comparisons from other sheriff's offices, and it's my recommendation at this time that we not make a change to the pay in the sheriff's office. I believe, from the information I've been able to provide today, that our salaries are competitive and offer career growth with the implementation of senior and master deputy. I would not ask for any action on this item today. Are there any questions? Okay.
I heard you this way first. Go ahead, ma'am.
I just
Mark.
wanted a clarification. The sheriff's office salary historical data from 2023 to 2024, that salary 2024 is only because of the 5% cost of living raise that was given this year. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So nothing else
through, Ms. Wilkins?
And I think it's worth
I think
mentioning.
so.
And I think it's worth mentioning that the intent of this board is to give at least a 5% increase across the board next year.
That has been a stated goal and what we'll be working towards.
Thank you.
You have a question, Mr. Aaron? Mr. Outlaw. Of course, I can't sit here and intake all of this quick.
Sure.
How would be the best way to manage any questions moving forward? Should we do it at a later meeting, or do you want us to contact you individually? May be the best way to do
I'd be happy for you to contact me.
it, individually.
Sure.
Okay. We all understand that once you get a chance to decipher these numbers, talk to the manager, individually about any questions you may have. There's a lot of information here, and I certainly can't quite take it in. I like the way you structured it. It gives a great overview of that.
I think it's important for the board to understand what our history has been, the progress that we have made, to be able to make any kind of decision moving forward.
One thing jumps out at me when I look at item page 4, Sheriff Office Salary Historical Data. The change between 22 and 23. I don't recall, and again, all of us know I don't recall everything quite as well as I did at one time, but there's some significant increases there that I don't remember us doing. How do we jump, I'll just arbitrarily take a sergeant from 47,000 to 65,000 in 1 year in salary? Did the board, I would have thought, had to give approval to that, or was it done when we approved the pay study? Tell me how that happened.
Yes, sir. So I'm going to go back a couple of more slides.
Okay.
This is the slide that shows the pay study recommendation. So I don't, it might be helpful for us to be able to put fiscal year 22 numbers up against what the study's recommendation was.
Right.
And then again, the sheriff met with myself and staff that were working on the budget numerous times and came to us with these figures that as you can see, I mean, they're all significant figures, but the differences are up in the upper level ranks for the majority. And across the county, we accepted the results of the pay study.
Okay.
We were going to accept the results of the pay study for the sheriff's office, but we did just a little bit more and met his request in 2023. And that's the jump between those fiscal year 22 numbers and fiscal year 23 numbers that you're seeing on that other chart.
Would you put that chart back up there?
Yes, sir.
I'd just like for the board to really study that chart between 22 and 23, because I didn't have any idea we did those kind of increases at that point in time. I guess it happened in the pay study, and I don't remember it, I guess, I don't know. But they're pretty significant.
They are, and you might even be surprised if you saw that in across all of our areas. There's some other areas that we had some very significant increases in.
So what I'm telling myself is when we do a pay study, I better study the pay study a little bit more than I may have this time. That's a comment to myself, you don't need to address it. Other comments, questions on
I
this?
have one question, Stacy. In looking at this advertised positions, Wayne County kind of jumps out to me that they got a range from 35 to 55. Do you know if they don't break their deputies down in senior, master deputy? There's got to be.
So this was the range that was posted, advertised publicly for a deputy position. So I don't know, I didn't contact them, but I would imagine that maybe they don't have those levels, but they allow themselves that range depending on the individual's years of experience, training, that sort of thing.
Mr. Chairman.
I'd be glad to contact them and ask them if they have those levels.
Be nice to know.
Okay.
Commissioner Wilson?
The 45,925, is that starting salary for any deputy, even someone coming on board without experience?
It is. That is our base salary for a deputy.
Other comments? We're going to move on. Please feel free to get in touch with staff if you have other questions. And if the board so chooses, we can discuss it as a board at a later date, once we've had time to study it more.
That's what I was going to request, Mr. Chairman, that it's fine to contact the county manager, but I think as a board, we need to leave space or room to consider this if a majority of us feel it should be considered.
Okay, we can certainly do that. Turn it back over to you.
Okay?
Yeah, I guess it
Mr.
would be a little helpful to show the starting salary and what's your maximum in that position.
There is, the sheriff requested last year with the fiscal year '23 budget that he turn to a rank and pay system to where if you are at that rank, that is your pay. There
Okay.
is no range in the sheriff's office.
All right,